Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Nonprofit Show. I'm going to say we're going to be talking a little retail therapy today, and we're going to be asking our wonderful guest, Kate Thoene, CEO of New Life Center Thrift Stores, are they worth the work, and how does social enterprise become something that's not a social fiasco? And so this is going to be an amazing conversation. I'm joined today by the wonderful Wendy F. Adams, CFRE, who knows something about thrift store management as well, right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited for this conversation.
It's going to be a good one. And this is something that we're really, really fortunate to have an expert on. So, Kate, thank you for joining us and sharing all of your knowledge with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Hey, we're here because we have these amazing partners. They include Bloomerang, American Nonprofit Academy, Staffing Boutique, JMT Consulting, Interim Executives Academy, Your Part-Time Controller, and Fundraisers Friday. I'm Julia C. Patrick, CEO of the American Nonprofit Academy. I was getting ahead of myself, Wendy, because I'm really excited. I have one of our amazing co-hosts, Wendy F. Adams, also a CFRE and the CEO of Cultivate for Good. And so Wendy's going to be joining us on this amazing exploration of what it looks like and what it means to have a thrift store that is successful. So let's back the bus up, Kate Thoene. As a CEO of New Life Center, talk to us about what New Life Center does and how you navigate it to a thrift store.
Absolutely. So at New Life Center, we are responding and just meeting the needs in our community around the issues of domestic violence, sexual violence, and human trafficking. We have prevention programming. We have a shelter with 110 beds. We also have a healing center that provides a lot of resources, that is when people don't need emergency shelter. And then we also have our social enterprise, Hope's Closet.
Okay, so you've got a lot cooking. You've got a lot of things going on. Can you give us the perspective of time? How long has New Life Center been operating, and when did Hope's Closet come to be, and how is there a link to Hope's Closet?
Yes, New Life Center started about 30 years ago, actually, in an abandoned dormitory of a local resort. So they had staff housing that wasn't being used. There was a need for emergency shelter for domestic violence survivors in the area. We started with 8 beds at that resort. And then, here we are with 110 beds after building from the ground up our emergency shelter. And
wow.
The community was just so generous when this shelter opened, that we had so many in-kind goods being donated that we didn't even know what to do with all of the items that were being generously provided to us, which is why we opened our thrift store, Hope's Closet.
Okay.
What a beautiful repurposed story. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have just been the beneficiaries of amazing generosity throughout these 30 years. We're located in the far West Valley, and just, about 30 minutes outside of Phoenix. And the West Valley just supports us. If we have a need, we ask and they come through.
Wow. So, Wendy, I know you have some experience with the management of a thrift store. Talk to us about what you see the thrift stores doing in our communities and what their purposes are.
Well, to connect, right? To bring community face to face with the experience, right? It's beyond just the shopping, but for them to be able to see that impact real time right away and that they're a part of it. That is what the community that I've served, and I'm hearing it from Kate, that's the draw. And that's the beauty of it. It's this immediate space of I am a part of what we strive for in our sector, right? They get that touch right away.
Yeah. Kate, do you have a program whereby your clients are given credits or tokens or whatever for them to come in and replenish and support? I know most people fleeing domestic violence are lucky if they get a trash bag
Yep.
of essential things. How do you serve that part of your clientele?
Yeah. So, thrifting is such an amazing thing. And now it's like gained so much popularity. It's really fun. But yeah, we get beautiful items, and those are all made available to the folks that we serve. So whether it is a family residing in our emergency shelter or a survivor of human trafficking that is going through some healing services at our Phoenix location. They all have access through what we call our vouchers, and they are just made that those items are made available to them free of charge while they're here at shelter, while they're getting services at our Sunshine Healing Center, or when they move out of shelter. So if there's a family that has been here between 90 and 120 days, and now they've secured safe, stable housing, and they're moving out into their own place, they go, over to Hope's Closet and they get whatever items that they might need for their new housing.
Wow. Amazing.
Beautiful.
So let's talk about the nuts and bolts. So now that we know the why, let's talk about the how. And the first thing I want to ask is, how hard is it to get quality items that you can turn around and sell? This is like one of the challenges in thrift store management, isn't it?
Well, so yes and no. For us, we get a lot of great items, and I can explain why. Number one, we make it very clear what we want.
Okay.
And that we want new or gently used items. We don't want people to say, should I donate this or should I throw it away? If you're asking yourself that, don't donate it to Hope's Closet or any other charitable thrift store, honestly.
Right.
Because then you're just adding costs to their operations instead of what you really intend to do is help them out. So we're very clear on what we need. We make it very easy for people to donate. We have an easy drop-off area. People come right out to help. We try to make it easy for people to donate, even if they're just coming in to shop. We've got a little bin right at the entrance of the store as well. So, and then we also have a partnership with another nonprofit that helps veterans. They will help facilitate the pickup and delivery of larger items such as furniture. So when we make it clear what we want, what we need, what we do and don't take, and then just make it easy for people to donate, we get amazing items. We just recently got a beautiful donation from a staging company that had all this gorgeous home decor. Mm-hmm. So things like that pop up. We get antiques, we get beautiful pottery, collectibles. I feel like you can get really great stuff because people are buying, we all have more than what we need, and we replace and we upgrade. And as long as people know where to take their donations, you'll get great quality stuff.
Really interesting. Wendy, I'm fascinated by the inclination and the bravery to say what it is you want. Right?
Look, when Kate said it, you could see the excitement in my eyes. I'm pretty sure. Set the expectations, right? But we say this across the sector, time and time again. It's like, let people know exactly what it is that you need, and they will come through. They just need to understand. And again, I go back to where I started. They now feel directly connected to making the impact.
That's right.
that they want, why they're walking in there in the first place. And so, you just got to let them know, and then they're excited to. And you're getting things with tags on them because, yes, we all have too much at this point in time.
Yeah,
it's true. Kate,
absolutely.
What are some of the things that, two questions. Like, do you have a season where donations are higher, and do you have a season where retail is higher, and do those sync up?
Yes, absolutely. They sync up. And summertime is our slower season, but not by a ton. I think it's just because where we're located in the far West Valley, we have a lot of snowbirds that take off during the summer and go to a cooler climate. But it's not drastic. So we're lucky enough to be pretty steady, and we've been in business for many years. So we know what to expect. And over the last couple of years, we've made some really drastic improvements at the thrift store. So we're doing pretty good every month. And also, we have a fantastic partnership with Big Brothers Big Sisters. If we have extra items, or if the same item comes in bulk and we have 30 boxes of flip-flops, they will come and pick up items that we aren't necessarily going to sell, and they buy it from us by the pound. So we're not only earning revenue by what we sell out the front door, we're also earning revenue by the non-sellables that we're selling through the back door.
And being such a great partner, right? It's not being wasted.
That's exactly it. There's so many benefits to thrift stores and social enterprises specifically with, that earned revenue that is completely unrestricted, right? I mean, we all know how hard that is to come by. It diversifies your revenue streams. It's unrestricted. You can count on it. And you're keeping things out of the landfill. You're also offering great affordable items for your local community. And then you're also helping your nonprofit with the items that they might need. So I know that we get a lot of items at Hope's Closet for our offices, our bulletin boards, our office chairs, desks, anything that we might need at the shelter. We check Hope's Closet first before we buy anything.
Julia, do you check all those wins? It's like win, 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 win.
Yeah. Well, and Wendy, I'm thinking too that when you deal with the type of client that Kate and her team is dealing with, these people need things, especially women with children. And they're not just like outfitting themselves; they're trying to get their kids, situated. And so, really, an interesting opportunity to help somebody rebuild a nest, as they say, or get their
absolutely. Yeah.
And be sustainable in that change, right? Like it's not, I love that when you're like, they're now out, let's let them have a start that is going to continue on in that space. Wow.
That's exactly it. And the individuals that we serve, they don't plan on coming here. They didn't wake up knowing that this is the day that they're going to have to flee their home. So they typically come here with very little. We try and, if there's communication, we try and get them to remember, documents, birth certificates, medications, prescriptions, some things that they're going to need immediately. We can take care of everything else.
Yeah, really interesting. So, Kate, let's talk about the management of the actual store in Hope's Closet. When you think about retail management, what are you looking at in terms of, do you have paid staff? Do you have volunteer staff? What's the percentage? A little bit of both. On Tuesdays, it's all volunteer. On Wednesdays, it's all paid. Like, what's that jumble look like?
So for us, it works best if we have enough paid staff to always cover operations. And then, and that looks like 3 full-time people and 3 part-time people. We have been open 5 days a week, Tuesday through Saturday, but we're going to change that up. Come July 1st, we're going to be open 7 days a week. So with 3 full-time and 3 part-time, we have enough coverage. And then we're supplemented by over 1,000 volunteers a year. So those volunteers can create price tags for us if they want to do something at home. They can come and help us tag and sort and display items. They can keep our store nice and shoppable and organized. All of these things are directly contributing to the success of Hope's Closet. And but they're not absolutely critical if a volunteer group cancels or if someone, has a vacation and isn't going to be there for a while. We can still operate fine without volunteers, but man, our volunteers do a lot of work. I couldn't imagine it without them, to be honest.
Just the sorting alone.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you find
And,
that-
it's amazing to have those extra people in the back production room, because the key to a great thrift store, a profitable, busy thrift store, is to always have new items going out. So if that back office, if that back production room, is working like a machine and producing and producing and producing, the more people can buy up front. And a lot of thrift store shoppers are repeat customers. So they're there often and they're looking for new items. So our volunteers really make that happen for us.
So you're not just like everybody's like, okay, they only put the new stuff out on Tuesdays. I mean, you're like cranking it through. So there's always that mix.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been into a lot of thrift stores, and the most, when I bypass the sales floor, I go right to the production room. Like, how are they really doing?
Right.
And if there's a ton of stuff back there, I would say that, either they need assistance finding a partner to get unsellables out, or they need to up their production so more items can go out. You never want, a stale sales floor. There's got to be some systems in place to move that product out, whether it's by sales or by pullbacks. And if something has been sitting there for a month, you need to get it out. So that flow continues.
So you mentioned something, and I want to get back to it, which is the rate, your sales rate and your merchandise flow. But before we get into that, how educated is your sales staff? I mean, have you been able to find people that have worked retail or have retail education? Like, what does that look like?
Yes. So we've been through probably 3 store managers in the last 5 years. So it is difficult. It's a lot of hard work, and you have to have that balance of someone who can work the production room and also take care of the administrative tasks, the banking and the deposits, and communicating with the agency and all of that. So that's been tricky. But now we have someone in place that does have thrift experience and is very motivated with the production piece. So it's great. It's working really well. And yes, everyone is aware of the more we sell, the more we help survivors of domestic violence.
Yeah. Which I think is a beautiful piece when we talk about the volunteers. Those are your built-in ambassadors in the community, right? They're giving that time and talent, being there. They're also the ones speaking out into the community of why it's important and pulling people in to experience and to be a part of the thrifting experience, be there and shop. So there's an extension of what those volunteers bring. And who knows, that can turn into staff at some point in time, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we've had that before, volunteers turning into staff several times. And then also, if there's great messaging within your store, within the physical store, you can tell the story of your nonprofit agency. And when you have thousands of visitors and customers every year, these are people that may never even have known your nonprofit exists, but now they do. So whether it is, by store signage or messaging on the receipt, or even those donations at the register, we have a monthly store-wide half-off sale. And we let every customer know, like, let's just say, for instance, your total is $50. You saved $50 today. Would you like to donate $3 to New Life Center? It's always a yes. So, there's just so many benefits of introducing new people to your agency through a social enterprise.
Fantastic.
I love it. I love it that you're looking at this as a POE, a point of entry. understanding.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that there's something there. I think that's really brilliant because a lot of times it's run so differently in a different group. It's siloed off, and those connections, don't come about. Let's get into, and we teased this a little bit. What are some of the metrics that you track and some of the tools that you use to keep things going and making money?
Yep. So of course we track our sales. We track the number of customers. We also track how many volunteer hours are contributed, and maybe most importantly, we track the mission impact. The value of those items that have been donated to survivors and to the agency. And in terms of like productivity, we use a great point of sale software that can track everything. And so we're continuously looking at our sales last month, our sales the same month last year. We also put into place a bonus structure for the full-time staff that we do have. And the better the sales are, the better they do personally as well.
I love it. I know a lot of times in thrift stores, they'll use a color coding system where everything comes in and like the first week, and it might be of the season or of the quarter, all those tags are yellow. And then the next week they're green. And then, that's how you facilitate some of the markdowns. Do you do something like that?
We do exactly that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and the longer the color tag has been on the floor, the cheaper it gets. And then we have our half off store-wide sale, where actually we're putting out new stuff, during that day as well. We kind of break all the rules on our half off sale day. We sell all the things that are, high end. Those are all half off. When something comes in the back door, it goes right to the sales floor on our half off day. So we do break all the rules on our half off day, but it is like the most fun and the most popular day of the month for sure. It's on first Fridays and first Saturdays of every month. But other than that, we just really try to talk about how meaningful productivity is there. We share weekly updates about, everybody gets a weekly update email about what's going on at the agency, at the shelter level, Hope's Closet, and our healing center. Because when you have 3 different locations, you kind of have to, keep up that communication. So everybody's feeling included and tied in about what's going on. So we also do half off all the time at Hope's Closet for employees. So employees are also incentivized to go over there and shop. And so, yeah, it works out. It's a really fun place. The staff is amazing. It's got great energy. Things are always just so well organized. The volunteers are hustling and bustling, and they've got their own little community over there. So it's just a lot of fun.
You just cultivated so much ownership through that whole process, from your volunteers to your staff, and really addressing each stakeholder right where they are. That's the beautiful thing. I know you say you're breaking the rules there in the half off space, and I feel like you're breaking the rules there by saying, hey, we see you, and it shouldn't be that it's a broken rule. That's really what we should be doing. But when you talk about, hey, there's a bonus structure there, right? Let's address that because of the work that you're doing, the impact that's being realized, and not an either or. So I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah, really interesting. What is the approximate square footage of your store?
I think it's about 5,000 square feet. It could be a little more than that. And we're actually thinking of perhaps a second store.
Wow. Okay. Would it be different, like just furniture or just art, or would it just be a separate location?
It would just be a new location. Yeah.
Wow.
New area of town. I'm putting together a kind of an ad hoc committee made up of board members, community members, perhaps people from various cities to come together and help us explore the potential of a second location.
Wow. Good
exciting.
For you.
Yeah.
So exciting. Yeah.
Well, it's breaking news on the nonprofit.
Yeah, it is.
That's right.
I got to ask as we kind of finish up, do you feel that the charity thrifting environment is still growing and continuing
Mhm.
to grow? Do you have a sense of that at all?
I think it is just based on my personal shopping experience. I do
Okay.
see new stores opening. There was one that I just recently went to that also had a cafe inside. Um,
Mhm.
and so it's
Interesting.
just, yeah, I think it's a great
Yeah.
model if it is run like a business. And if it's set up well and the board has realistic expectations and there's a strategic plan and a business model and all of those things that we know can really make or break a social enterprise. So I do think there's growth, but I only have that as personal experience.
No, Kate, I would completely agree. And
Would
you
you?
touched
Okay.
on where I was going to go when you said about, restaurant now or cafe, because I'm seeing that there, coffee shops, meeting people, our community where we are. You're shopping already. You're drinking coffee already. Do it with a purpose. Tie it
Yeah.
to a why, right? And I am seeing that increase. And it's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
social enterprise as a whole, I think is a very much a growing sector.
Yeah.
Yes,
And I'm happy to hear that you think that the thrifting is as well.
absolutely.
So as we finish up, I've got, in the green room, you talked about being an adjunct professor at ASU, talking about social enterprise. Where is the best place to learn about this? Because I feel,
Mhm.
and Wendy, I'm really interested in your comments as well, that it's something that we don't have a place necessarily to
Mhm.
learn about. And we
Yeah.
all have to stumble through it. And then it's like the school of hard knocks. So, where do you garner this information?
A good resource, I think, is the Social Enterprise Alliance
Mm.
out of, oh gosh, where are they based? Nashville. And then I also think that, yeah, that the Nonprofit Management Institute at ASU is great. And, there's just a lot of nonprofit leaders who have embarked in social enterprise. And I think that more than anything, those are the people to ask and the people to talk to that have kind of lived it and tried it and, have succeeded or failed
Right?
and can give the best advice.
Right.
Couldn't agree more. And we're seeing that in those collaborative conversations, like you've talked about, right? You have partners when you're working with Boys and Girls Club. So it's
Yes.
in those conversations that this is coming out of. These enterprising conversations are coming out of, and
Mhm.
we're learning together and recognizing this is not a siloed experiment, right? This
Right.
works when we're really doing it well together. And so let's have those conversations and learn from one another. To your point, when it hasn't
Mhm.
worked and what has, so, because at the end of the day, that's what rises and supports our community best. So that's what I'm seeing here. The organization that I've had the pleasure of being a part of, they're onto their third location because the community is really coming alongside and loving it and
Yeah,
supporting.
that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
And, we get a substantial amount of funding from Hope's Closet. I mean,
Yeah.
it's nothing minimal. It's meaningful, and again, it's unrestricted, and we can count on it year over year. So I think there's just so much value.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. Well, this has been a great conversation. I've really enjoyed it. I know, Kate, that so often organizations talk about this at the board level, that it
Yes.
comes to be, and then it's just so hard for the staff and the team to be doing their mission work and at the same time then get into a whole nother side business, as they say, a side hustle. And so I
Hmm.
love that you're able to share with us your vantage point and definitely your success. Kate Thoene is the CEO of New Life Center. You can learn more about Kate and her team at newlifectr.org. And then fascinating pieces of the pie. New Life Center has a lot going on, incredibly innovative, and has grown so dramatically in a really short period of time. So, Kate, thank you so much for being with Wendy and I today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been fun.
It's been a lot of fun. We are amazed and supported by these fabulous businesses each and every day. We've now done more than 1,300 episodes. We are in our 6th year of broadcasting, and most all these supporters have been with us since day one. They include Bloomerang, American Nonprofit Academy, Staffing Boutique, JMT Consulting, Interim Executives Academy, Your Part-Time Controller, and Fundraisers Friday. These are the folks that make such a difference in so many lives. Wendy, thank you for joining me today. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh, this has been such a pleasure. Thanks for the opportunity.
It's been great. You know, we like to say at the end of each and every episode, we like to leave with this mantra, and it goes like this: to stay well so you can do well. Thank you, ladies.